Hey guys, it's Graham. A big welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be taking you guys back a little bit, doing a bit of storytelling, showing you guys what happened that crazy day that I left Seville and why I'm quitting au pairing. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for coming. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to see the content that I produce. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you guys so much for the support you've given me. You just don't know what it means, and I need y'all's help in my goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers. So you know what to do. This video is going to be different than my normal videos in the sense that I'm including like 3 different videos all in this one. I tried to film a vlog on the day that I left Seville for Madrid, and I've also filmed some other videos in the time after that, but I think I need to combine all of those into one comprehensive video to show you guys why I'm quitting au pairing, what happened, and some things that you guys should know if you're in a similar situation. So to really understand this story, I think we need to go back to the day that I left Seville to go to my new host family in Madrid. Here's how that looked. Hey guys, a big good morning. It is Graham here, currently here in Seville. It is just before 7 o'clock in the morning, and today is the day where I leave my host family to go on to Madrid to my very last experience. This is an incredibly emotional day. Yesterday was also very difficult, Initially, the plan was that I was going to leave my Seville host family sometime in late June, but times changed, things came up, and I ended up finding a family that wanted me to start late May. So I left about a month early. On the day that I left, I was supposed to go directly from Seville to meet my new host family in Madrid, and looking back on it, this was a horrible decision. Leaving Seville, I was devastated. I was emotionally crushed. The day that I left, the kids were crying. They were holding on to me, begging me not to leave. I myself wasn't really sure that I wanted to leave, and I just wasn't excited to go to my new host family in Madrid. I felt just tired and drained and exhausted, but I had already made this commitment and I had to go. I think as soon as my train pulled out of the station in Seville, I knew I had made a huge mistake. For the duration of the train ride up to Madrid, 2.5 hours, I cried. I would say a solid 2 hours of that. I mean, I was just so devastated to leave the kids, to leave my host family, my friends, my language school, so many things that I loved. I was planning on filming a whole set of vlogs that day, but when I got to Madrid, I literally couldn't even film, and well, this clip was filmed 4 days after I got there. This is what happened. Hey guys, a big good morning. So it is Tuesday morning. I last filmed on Friday. I know it's been a really long time. I kind of had a breakdown. So without being terribly dramatic, on Friday I pretty much just had a meltdown in the middle of my day. I went out, I took a walk, and all the emotion of the day, of the move, of everything just hit me all at once, and I just fell to pieces. I underestimated the challenge of going from one family to another. After I filmed that clip trying to explain how I was feeling, I knew that I had to leave. I knew that I had to leave that family. They were fantastic people, really sweet. They were so excited, but I just felt so emotionally drained. I felt dead in a sense. I filmed that video on a Tuesday, and by the following day, I had decided that I needed to tell my host parents immediately that I was leaving. After doing a lot of talking with my friends, with my family, with my host family back in Seville, who I trust very much, I came to the conclusion that I was just burned out. I think leaving Seville in the way that I did really did a number on my emotional and mental health. I wasn't expecting to have such a dramatic despedida, such a dramatic goodbye from the kids. And I think me leaving in that way with them, you know, crying, holding on to me, begging me not to go, it really brought down my spirits in a sense to where when I came to Madrid, I was not ready to meet this new family. I wasn't ready for the new challenge. And I just felt so broken and empty. In the past, between my 3 au pair experiences, I had had time between each experience to mentally prepare myself for the next experience. And this time, I had no time. I got on the train in Seville at 8 o'clock and I got off at 10:30 in Madrid. So I had 2.5 hours to process all of the things that were happening, all of the emotions that I was feeling, and it wasn't enough time. I remember that whole first week, just after that clip you're seeing, I felt as though I was watching my life through someone else's eyes. I mean, I was there, obviously, but in a greater sense, I wasn't there. Mentally, I was not there. My mind was in Seville with the kids, with my host parents, with my friends, with my life there. All I could think about was Seville. I couldn't think about my new life. While I was in Madrid, I did do some sightseeing. I went to some of my favorite spots in an attempt to clear my head, and I was hoping, I think in a sense, that once I went to the places that I loved, I would feel better. But that's not what happened. I think going to the places that I used to love made me even more sure of my decision that I needed to leave immediately. When I left Seville, I wasn't expecting an emotional reaction from the kids. My host family, they're German, they're pretty straightforward. You generally get what you see with them, and they're not the lovey-dovey, touchy, huggy type of people. I mean, I really expected when I was to leave, I would say goodbye, they would say goodbye, give a quick hug, and walk out the door. But that's not what happened. The kids were a mess. The night before, my oldest one, Mats, came into my room, and he just directly asked me not to leave, like very emotionally asked me not to leave, to stay a little bit longer. And then the morning that I was supposed to leave, I couldn't even look at him. I couldn't even say goodbye to him. And Clara, my youngest one, was holding on to me. My host mom had to literally peel her off of me because I was going to be late for my train. And the last words I heard out of her mouth before I closed the door, while she was crying, she said to me, "Graham, por favor, no te vayas. Graham, please don't leave." And man, that destroyed me. So I think now you guys get a better image of what I felt like when I went to Madrid. And of course, when I got to meet my new host family, these kids, their eyes were wide looking at me. They were excited, you know, they were excited for the things that were to come. And I should have been excited, but I wasn't. All I could think about was Seville, was the kids, and that's just not a good place to be. The following Thursday, after I filmed that clip that you guys just saw, I told my host parents exactly what was happening. I told them that it wasn't their fault, that it was me. It really was me. It was not them. I told them how I just felt exhausted and burned out, quemado in Spanish, and how I didn't feel as though it was just if I stayed with them, because A, I would not be able to give them all that they were hoping for, but also I wouldn't be able to get anything from the experience myself. This was extremely hard to tell them because they were so excited, and I think they thought things were going really well, and they were definitely disappointed, but they took it very, very well. They were extremely understanding, and I actually found my replacement for them within about 48 hours of telling them that. In the week after that, I was just trying to think about what I was gonna do, and I thought the best solution would be just to go home. I hope you guys understand, I didn't want to go home. It's not like I wanted to go back to the US. I went to this Madrid host family to escape coming back to the US just for a little bit longer. But knowing how burnt out I felt, knowing how exhausted I felt, I concluded that it was my only option. Sometimes going back home is not what we want, but it is what we need. And I felt like in that time, I needed the support and the love from my family, because I really didn't, and I still don't know what my next steps are, and I think that is part of what contributed to my sort of meltdown, is not knowing what's gonna come next. So at the end of that week, that Friday, it was exactly 2 weeks since I had came to Madrid. I boarded a train at Madrid Atocha for Sevilla Santa Justa, and I went back down to Seville to see my host family one more time. That Friday, I got back down to Seville at about 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:30 or 11, I don't know. And I picked up the kids from school, and they did not know that I was gonna pick them up from school. And so when Clara saw me, she just kind of stayed there for a second, just staring at me. And then she started walking towards me, and then running towards me, and she ran towards me, and I picked her up, and I'm holding her, and she was just crying. I mean, a 6-year-old little girl, she did not say a word to me for, I would say, half a minute or so. She was just crying. Of course, I started crying in the middle of the school. Then the 9-year-old came up to me and he was hugging me as well. It was a really, really emotional moment, and I think it was a sign. It was the confirmation I needed that I should have gone back to Seville. That was the right thing to do, because it gave me a chance to close that chapter in my life. That weekend, I stayed in Seville with my host kids, with, of course, my host family, with my friends. I went to see them one more time, and it was just such a breath of fresh air. I mean, getting to spend that time with my kids one last time, it was so refreshing for me, I think for them, and it gave both of us the chance to say our goodbyes, you know, in not such a rushed manner. We had the whole weekend to spend time with each other and to say our hasta luego, you know, our see you laters, and it really did make the difference. The following Monday, so I had been in Seville for 3 days at that point, I got on a bus and I went to Portimao, Portugal, because I had decided I wanted to spend a week by myself just clearing my thoughts, getting my thoughts together before I went back home. I spent 3 days in Portimao just thinking, honestly, thinking about what had happened, thinking about what I want to do next in life. And then after that, I went on to Lisbon, Lisboa. I was so excited to be there. It's a city that I always wanted to visit, and I spent another 3 days there. I think having that week on my own of just time to think was so beneficial for me. I'm not gonna lie, there were a few moments that were difficult. There were a few moments where, you know, I was feeling a bit lonely, but there was also a lot of time for me to connect with myself again, to listen to my own thoughts, to think about where I wanted to be in the future and what the future has for me. And it really was a beneficial week. Of course, I got to see some beautiful things. I got a bit of a tan in Portimao, but it was a great week all in all. And at the very end of that week, on Sunday, 6 days after I'd left Seville, I took a flight back home to the USA, to Miami, Florida. The flight back to Miami was difficult. Not in the sense that the flight was difficult. The flight was great. But about halfway into the flight, I just had a bit of a breakdown. But the realization that this year for me, really this almost 2 years that I had been planning this trip, that it was done, that was a hard pill to swallow. And I did have a bit of a breakdown on the flight. I had a bit of a teary moment, but also it was good to say that I finished in this way. I felt as though the experience ended well. I felt closure, and I did feel a sense of peace. I got to Miami Sunday night, I spent the night there, and then flew back home to Atlanta on Monday, where I've been ever since. Today is Friday, so I've been here all week, and it's different. I'm gonna make a whole nother video on this, maybe even today or tomorrow, about what it feels like to be home after your au pair year, or a year abroad, I imagine. And while of course I'm glad to be home, it's also a bit difficult because in a sense I almost feel like I have two lives at this point. I have my life here in the US, this Graham, and then I have the life in Spain with my friends there, with my loved ones there. I have that Graham, as they say in Spain. And I'm gonna make a whole nother video about this probably today or tomorrow, but being home, being right here, means that the life I have over there is kind of dead. And when I'm there, it means that the life I have here is kind of dead. So I'm happy to be home, don't get me wrong, but it is a definite trade-off, and it does kind of hurt. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of hurts to be here, but I am glad to be home. I'm glad to be with my family. It's been really, really pleasant, and I have a lot of cool stuff planned for this summer, for the content, for the YouTube channel, and I'm certainly not done. I don't know that I'm quitting au pairing forever. I might au pair again in the fall, just for a couple months. I might just take a trip abroad. I might I don't know, I might stay here in the US. So I'm not gonna say forever, but I don't think that I'll ever au pair again for a year or an extended period of time. Au pairing is great, but it definitely has an expiration date, and I think I've gotten pretty close to that date. Alright guys, so this is why I've quit au pairing. This is why I left Spain. This is why I came back home, and I know this video has been very different than the ones I normally produce, but I thank you so much for hanging in there. I thank you for watching it, and if you've enjoyed it, I hope you subscribe to the channel and like it. Be looking out for new content as it comes every single week, and I look forward to seeing you then. Muchas gracias y hasta luego desde América. Ciao.